Hello and welcome to this fifth session on editing, and we are going to do some advanced editing with the same Age of Aeroplanes document that we are working. In our previous session, we first took all the shots, we learnt how to segregate them in the media panel, then in the edit we had created one rough cut and made the film of 1 minute ready. Now let us continue from where we left in our previous session. So for this, launch DaVinci Resolve, and once DaVinci Resolve is launched, now I am going to open this Age of Aeroplanes trailer. I will double click to open this. So this will open at the place where we had left our editing in the previous session. Now here, the very first thing we are going to do is, right now we have created one version of our edit and we are going to make modification to it and we are going to fine tune it. But before we start fine tuning, what we have to understand is, we have to first duplicate our version 1 timeline and save it as version 2. This is called as version control. This is very important because we open this project and when we start working, by chance if something goes wrong or if our edit doesn't seem to be good, we need not start all the way from the beginning. We have the version 1 backup, we can delete the version 2, duplicate it again and continue our editing. So the very first job now we are going to do is, we are going to back up our previous timeline and we are going to work by duplicating it as a different timeline. Now for this, we are going to come into our edit channel, and in the edit channel timelines, we have our timeline here, Age of Empires trailer. So you can see here the open timeline name here, Age of Empires, Age of Aeroplanes version 1. This is the timeline that is open right now. You can see it in this program window. Now I will right click on this timeline and you have an option here called duplicate timeline. Click on duplicate timeline, then click on the name here, just click once here and you can see you can now change the name. It is now by default named as version 1 underscore copy. I am going to rename this as version 2, and then without fail I have to double click it so that this is the active timeline that I am going to work. So you can choose your active timelines here clicking on this arrow. So you have two timelines here, and remember that we will be doing our modifications to Age of Aeroplanes version 2. Now coming to version 2, the very first thing I want to do here is, I want to add a voiceover, and to add the voiceover I need an extra audio track. So to add or control the number of tracks present here, I can come into this track panel on the left hand side, right click, and you have an option here called add a track and add tracks. Okay, there are two. I will select the add tracks, the second option, and this will open up this pop-up menu. And here I am not going to add any video track, so I will keep the video track number to 0. Whereas in audio track, I will change this number to 3 and the position will be below audio 1 and the type of audio track will be stereo. I can choose mono or stereo or quad or 5.1 or 7.1 film, adaptive. So you can choose so many options in audio track types, but right now usually for voiceover we prefer mono, but right now I leave it default as stereo and I will click on add tracks. Now after we add this audio track, I will bring the mouse over here and you can see this cursor. I will drag it and make the audio track a little bigger so that you can now see audio track 2, 3 and 4, 3 tracks added below the audio 1 track. For us to recognize these tracks better, let us rename these tracks. I will first click on audio 1 name and I am going to call this as sync, because this will be the sync track coming from the video. The second track I will click here and I am going to call it Vivo, because this is the voiceover track. Then for the audio 3 track I am going to call this SFX1 and I am going to leave it as it is. And for audio 4 I am going to call this as SFX2, and for audio 5 I am going to call this as music. Apart from naming this, you can also color code it so that as soon as you see in the visual, when you are working on a huge, when you are working on a very long or multiple audio tracks, you can use color coding to represent which is the voiceover track, which is the special effects track and which is the music track. So let us now color code it. Now coming back here, I will right click on the sync track and you have change track color option, and for the sync track I am going to keep its color as lime. See, you can see immediately the color has changed. For voiceover I will right click and I am going to choose the track color here as, say for example, I will use this tan color for voiceover, and for SFX1 I am going to change the track color to brown, and for SFX2 also I am going to change the track color to brown, because both of them are special effect, and for music I am going to change the track color to olive. Now let us start our work by adding a voiceover to this clip. And to add the voiceover, if I scroll up a little, so I will come to the video 1 track here. If required, I will drag a little to see the video track here. And in this case, my very first voiceover will come after the first interview at some point over here, at this point. And I will bring my timeline to this point, and then I will come to my bin and select the voiceover bin, and in that I will select the first hfvo1.wav file and double click to open it in the source window. Now let us play and hear it first.
In the age of airplanes, we've become explorers once again.
Okay, so I will stop the playback. Now to move it, I can directly come in the top to the starting point over here where the audio starts, and I am going to press I on the keyboard to mark an in point here. Then similarly I will move to the end here and mark the out point here. Now you already know how to put this clip into my timeline. So I can I will just drag it a little out here till here and I will mark it out. Okay. Now you already know how you can add it. You can add insert or overlay. If I add insert, all the clip will move forward. So I have to now use this F10 overwrite clip. But when I use this overwrite clip and if I press F10 now see, as soon as I clicked F9, see the voiceover went and sat in the sync track, but actually I wanted it in the voiceover track. So I will go to edit it, undo it, or press Ctrl Z to undo it. Now when you press F9 or F10 and when you add the clip to the track, even when you drag it and add it, you have to set the target track here. Right now the target track is set to A1 because you are seeing this red box around it. Now I am going to choose A2 as the target track, and now if I click on F9, then this clip will be added here, and the color also you can see it has been added in the voiceover track. So we have added the voiceover. Now here I am next going to add my second voiceover file after these 3 interviews at some point over here. That is, after this clip here, I will bring it at this Kenya shot. I will bring my cursor somewhere here, and then I am going to double click on this hfvo2.wave, and now let us play and hear the audio once.
For the moment, leave behind everything you know about airplanes. Anything you've heard about their history. Every conclusion you've drawn from your own experience, and prepare to see them again for the first time.
Okay, because we are making a trailer, this is a very lengthy audio clip and I doesn't want to use this entire audio clip. So let us select only the portions that we need from this audio. So for this, I am going to move to the starting here, and when I play from here.
For the moment, leave behind everything you know about airplanes.
So I want only this, leave behind everything about your aeroplane. So I will press J on my keyboard, rewind it, I will press J again to move fast, I will press K to stop it, and somewhere at this point I am going to press I on my keyboard, then press L.
Leave behind everything you know about airplanes.
Press K so that it comes to the end, and I am going to press O. So remember this keyboard shortcut, and immediately now I am going to press the F9 and it is going to insert the clip here. Okay, so you practice JKL, IO and F9 to place the clip fastly on the timeline. Now the next part I need is, I will come to the ending part here and I am going to choose the clip here. It starts from here, and I am going to mark I here, then press L.
And prepare to see them again for the first time.
Press K to stop it, and press O to add an out point, and again press F9 on your keyboard, and that is going to overlay it. Now only thing is, you can see that the audio and the clips are not perfectly syncing. Don't worry, we shall readjust it later. Okay, now let's start trimming this audio clips a little. The very first thing I want is, I am going to bring my clip a little to the point over here between these 2 cuts, and I am going to press on this detail zoom, and it gets zoomed in. Only thing is, it has zoomed too much. I want to zoom it out. Remember the keyboard shortcut. Press Ctrl and minus to zoom out. See, you can zoom out. Ctrl plus zooms in, or Command plus in Mac zooms in, Ctrl minus zooms out. I zoom it out a little like this. Now I am going to select this piece of content, and I am going to move it to the left and place it somewhere here. So when I am moving it, if it is getting snapped like this, this is happening because the snapping is on. So when you are using it, if you press N, letter N for New York, N button on your keyboard, see the snapping immediately becomes off. It understand all this keyboard shortcut very well. I can just place it tight here, and then the next thing is, when I move the audio clip over here, you can now see this, both the clips I will select it together, and when I move it, see again it is snapping. I doesn't want this snapping to happen. Press N, snapping is disconnected, drag where you want to place it and leave it, and snapping is again enabled. Now only thing is, you are seeing a long gap here. I want to avoid this gap. So what I am going to do is, I will come to the starting point of the clip here and press Ctrl B on my keyboard. Now what happened? This selected clip is cut into two pieces. It is blade. Remember, Ctrl B is the keyboard. Now I will select this clip and I will move it back, and again I will slightly move it and reduce this gap. Now after we added this clip, the next thing that we want to do is, before we continuing with this clip, the next thing, let us add some special effects. So in this session, let us see how we can add the SFX sound. Now to add the first sound effect, if you come to the bin here to sound effect, you have various 6 sound effects tracks here, and I am going to select SFX Jet Taxi. And now this time, to add this track, I will come back to timeline and I will move back, and I want this jet timeline to come in this A380 taxi. I want to add this effect around this clip. Now I am going to show you a different kind of edit here. So I am going to select this clip, and I want this audio special effects to be added only to this length of the clip. Okay, so for this, what I am going to do is, I am using the timeline as the active windows. Now what you have to do is, bring the mouse over the timeline here to this point and press X. See, if you keep it here and press X, nothing is happening. But if I bring the mouse over the timeline here and press X, see, now you can see an in and out is marked just around this clip. Now I want this clip to be inserted just within this. So what I will do is, I will double click to open it, and then select the SFX1 track, don't forget this, and press F10 on your keyboard to add an overwrite edit. So immediately you can see this audio, whatever in point is set for this audio, from that point the clip is automatically inserted to the duration of the clip over here. And this is another way of editing. If you want to add a clip or add a sound to an exact length of another clip, select it, bring the mouse over the timeline, press X, then mark the in point of the clip and press F10 to just insert the clip to that particular length. Now next, I will select this South Pole clip, and for this South Pole clip, I will click here and I am going to bring the mouse here, and at this point I want to add the SFX prop web. I will double click to open it. I will again come over here, move the mouse over the timeline and press X. So when I move it over the timeline here and press X, you can see in and out is marked. Now this time I am not going to take the clip right from the start. I am going to select some point at the middle, somewhere here, and I am going to press I to mark an in point, and then press F10 to add an overwrite edit. So when I press F10, audio track SFX1 is selected. So as soon as I press F10, see the clip is added from this in point to the end of that particular shot. Now as soon as we inserted the clip, you can see the timeline actually moved to the starting point of the next clip. So I will select this clip now and again bring the mouse to the top and press X to select this in and out now, and I will come back to the audio track now, and I am going to select this distant prop sound, double click to open it, and in this I am not going to start from the start. Let us leave this initial part, and somewhere here I am going to press the I point to mark the in point, And only thing is, now I want this sound to come in the soundtrack A4. So for this I will select the A4 track and again press F10, and when I press F10, see the clip is added and the clip automatically moves to the next clip first frame. Now I select this next clip, this skinnier clip. If required, I will move the timeline a little using this slider here, and now coming to this clip, I will again bring the mouse over the timeline here, press the X key to mark in and out, and then again for this part I am going to use the light wind click, double click to open it, and I will bring the mouse somewhere at this point, somewhere here, and I am going to press I to mark in, and then this time I am going to select the A3 track and then press F10 to overlay it. So we have added these 3 clips. Now these are the different ways of adding the clip. So you have now experienced how to add the clip using this X button, mark in and out, and place the audio or the special effect only to that particular clip. Now coming back here, let us now move the slider here slightly to the left, and I am going to choose this third clip, and in this third clip what is happening is this aircraft is taking off. You can see the aircraft taking off, and in this case for this clip I am going to select this clip, again bring the mouse to the top and press X, so the in and out is marked around it. Now coming back here, you have one jet takeoff sound, and I am going to double click it. Now in this case what is happening is, in this clip I know exactly when the flight takes off. So in the sound, if I scroll, you have this takeoff sound going, and as the sound fades here, I want this sound to match with the out point of this clip. Normally till now we were marking the in point and we were syncing it, but this time this is called as back edit. Back edit means I am going to first mark O, out point here, and after I mark the out point, now if I perform the override clip pressing F10, you can one thing is I will undo it. Only thing is I now want to select the A4 track and then press F10 to add this clip, and you can see now the out point is marked here and the in point is automatically calculated depending upon this length of the clip. This is called as back edit. Now after this, let us use the same clip to another shot here. If you come to the final shot here, you have this flight taking off, and we are going to use the same jet takeoff sound here. So I will select this clip and press X to mark in and out, but only in this case I doesn't want it to fade out fully. I use the clip somewhere here and I mark the O to mark the out point, and now if I do the F10 override, so this clip is added over here. Now while editing, you have seen there are various types of edits, the various type of adding the clip to the timeline. Say for example, if you come here, if I drag it and bring it here, you can see so many options here, and next we are going to use this replace option. So let us see how that is going to work. Don't add any clip. If you have added it, undo it. So now let us see how this replace clip is going to work, and for this I am going to move back a little here and I am going to come to this Maldives shot somewhere here. You can see this Maldives shot here. Now in this case, see when the plane is moving overhead like this, when the plane is, you see the distance between the plane and the camera, and at this point the plane is close to you. It is the closest point, and at this point the audio should be maximum, and as the plane moves out the audio should fade out. So, for this clip again I am going to come here and now I am going to perform a different edit. Now, in this case I will double click the overhead.wave file. Now, I will double click the overhead wave and I am going to move the clip to the point where you have the peak sound, and I select this point and I am going to press I to mark the in point. Now, I want to sync this sound with this point. So, in this case, to sync this sound correctly over here, I am going to choose the A1 track here, that is SFX1 track, and I am now going to click on replace clip. I will press, instead of F10, when I press F11, see what happens is, when I press F11, you can see the sound is synced exactly to this point, and you have the remaining point of the audio running here. So, this is the way we can use this replace clip. Sync the video with one point of audio and then click on replace clip, and it is going to sync the remaining part of the clip using this replace clip. We can sync this. Now, here this out point is not coming to, yeah, it is to the end. Okay. So, actually I haven't got the full clip here. I will drag it and increase this length. And now to preview this, temporarily I will scroll down and I will mute the music track, and then I will press the / button to preview this.
If we couldn't get the shot or the weather wasn't right,
I will
go back
just
to
stop this playback. I will bring the mouse somewhere here and I will press the preview button now.
If we couldn't get the shot or
I will bring it somewhere here. See, I will bring the mouse.
it's possible to shoot it.
Okay, so you can see the way the sound effect has been applied. Now, the next part of audio that we are going to edit is this voice over track. So, we will be editing this voice over track. And to edit this voice over track, now what happens is, if required here, I will press Alt and scroll down to make the zoom, or I will press Shift and zoom, scroll down to slightly reduce the size of these tracks. Shift and roll mouse to change the size, okay, and Control to scroll and Alt to zoom. So, remember these keyboard shortcuts. So, now I want to work only with the voiceover track here. So, for this reason I am going to mute the music track and both the special effects track, so that now I can hear only the voiceover track, because only this voiceover track is the most important track, because we have to work our video based on the voiceover. So, I am going to enable only the voiceover track and I am going to mute out all other tracks. Now, the next part here, we have a virtual audio mixer present right into Resolve, where we can control the level of the audio. And for this, if you come on the top here, you have one mixer option, and when you click on mixer, you can see this mixer panel opens. I can just drag it and make it bigger, so you can see all the track. If by chance when you are working with the mixer you doesn't have the space, I can temporarily switch off the media pool. If I click on this media pool, see this media pool or the clip selection part gets hidden, and we have now more room to work with the mixer. Now, remember, I will actually bring this to the starting point by pressing the home key, and when I play it, you can see the audio level moving here, and you can see in the sync track the audio moving. And remember, always when you are editing, this audio, whatever is shown in the mixer, should not be too low. It should be at the yellow level, and it should not match the red level. If it goes to red level, we call it as overshooting. So always see that this audio is up to the yellow level. And second thing is, when you are playing it, you can see two lines of green moving up, and this indicates that this is a stereo channel. So we have both left and right channel. So we are seeing two tracks here. Now let us move on to this Harrison Ford voiceover 1.wave file. So I am going to move the time here, and when I play this, see the mixer. So when I play this clip,
In the age of airplanes, we've become explorers once
see,
again.
in this part, see, when I am playing the interview, you are seeing the audio moving in both the tracks. But in Harrison Ford, you are seeing the audio moving in only one track, because the track is stereo, but the audio we have added is mono. In this case, sometimes what happens is, when you are hearing the speaker, this sound will come either only in the left speaker or in the right speaker. So as a thumb rule, remember, if your audio is mono, then this track should also be mono. But we have already added the track. Can we change this stereo track to mono track? Well, Resolve makes it easier to make it change on the fly. Now what I am now going to do is, I am going to come into this voice over track here. That is, if I just pull it a little, and if I see the that is here, this is the voiceover track. A2 is the voiceover track, and behind every track you can see the stereo icon 2.0, and only for this A2 track I am going to right click, and I am going to choose change track type to, and you have stereo 3, 4, 5, 7, adaptive, you have so many options, and I am going to choose mono. And as soon as I choose mono, you can see that now the voiceover track has changed to mono. So you are seeing this as 1.0 because this is now a mono track. Now if I play this Harrison Ford video, and if I see it in the voiceover mixer here, you can see
we've become explorers.
This is a mono
again.
track. This Harrison Ford voiceover track was a mono track. We had put it in stereo track, so we converted it into mono. Now here there's a lot of difference between changing the track from stereo to mono on the track and changing the source track. See here, the source track of this Harrison Ford is actually a mono track. So to know this, if you right click on this, and if you come here, and you will have an option here, clip attributes. So if I click on clip attributes, and if I come to audio, you can see that Harrison Ford audio is a mono track. I will cancel it. But if I take this interview, right click and choose clip attributes, now you can see that this has stereo track. Now it has two channels, that is, when the recording was done in the camera, two channels has been recorded. Now I want this interview also to be recorded as a mono channel. So because this is someone who is speaking, I want it to be a mono channel. Then I can come here, I can select this channel, right click and choose change track type to, and I can change it to mono. So now if you come to the mixer here, and if you have a look at it, you can see that the sync channel is running in mono. Now however, if I right click on the clip and choose clip attributes, now when I choose clip attributes, you can now see here also I can change it to mono, but when I change mono here, while recording it has taken 2 channels, I have to select whether I want to use the channel 1 of my camera or channel 2 of your camera. So, right now I will leave it default to stereo and I will also cancel it. I will leave it as it is default. So, understand the difference between changing the track stereo system to changing the source stereo system. I have changed A1 and A2 track to mono. Harrison Ford voice is already mono, but if you take the interview, it is recorded in stereo, but we have made the channel mono. So, with this, I am going to conclude this session and let us keep working on this audio in our 6th session, that is in our next class. Thank you.